Do you own a C8 Corvette? If you do, this video is for you. I'm about to tell you how you can save a ton of money by doing your own maintenance on these cars, and it's not hard. Let's go over the numbers now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for pressing play. Today, we are going to be doing some maintenance on the C8 Corvette Z06, but a lot of this will apply to pretty much any of the Corvettes in the lineup, and that includes an oil change, an oil filter change, and a transmission filter change. I'm about to show you how you can save a ton of money by doing this stuff yourself and where to buy the products to save even more money than what the dealership will charge you. Let's jump into it. So not too long ago, guys, I had this service done at the dealership and I had to pay for it. And my dealership is actually one of the cheaper ones when it comes to an oil change, oil filter change, and a transmission filter change. And it still cost over $1,200. I'm going to show you how you can do it today for less than 250 bucks. Yeah, almost $1,000 difference in just doing it yourself and buying the products yourself. You could save $1,000 pretty much every year if you change these items as often as I do. Let's dig into this. So for the C8 Corvette Z06, this is the oil you're going to need. It is, of course, the Supercar 5W50 from Mobil 1. This is one of the better oils out there. Of course, you can always change your oil if you want to some different brand, but I like to stick with what the manufacturer recommends. For this oil, you're going to need 8 quarts in a Z06. That means you're going to have to buy 2 boxes of 6 quarts on Amazon. And they are about $58 per box. Now, what this is going to mean is that you're going to have 4 quarts left over, which means the next time you do this, you only have to buy 1 box for $58 with 6 quarts in it, because now you'll have 10 after you do the initial change here. So it gets cheaper the more you do it. Now, right there, if you have to buy 2 boxes, we have $116 already accounted for with just the oil. On top of that, we also need the oil filter, which you can also get on Amazon, and that's the part number right there. Now this was, I believe, right around $11. I'll link all this stuff down below, by the way, guys, because you're going to want to buy it all from the same place I do to save this amount of money. Everything will be linked in the description, but that is the part number. This is about $11 for the oil filter. So we'll add another $11 onto the $118 we have here. That brings us to $129. On top of that, we're also going to do the transmission filter because I do this every oil change and you don't have to. So if you want to stop right there, you're at $129 for an oil change on a Z06. Much cheaper than what the dealership's going to charge you. But if you want to do the transmission filter change as well, which I highly recommend, I like to do it every time I change the oil. This is the part number for the transmission filter. And this again can be had on Amazon for, I believe it was $109. Brand new, all of the items you're going to need in here. And as you can see, genuine GM OEM part. So $109 on top of the $129 for oil change brings us to $238. That's it. 238 bucks to do the same service that GM charges you $1,200 for. $1,200 to do all this stuff in that car. Real quick before we continue, guys, I wanted to mention the sponsor of today's video, and it is again going to be MooCar. Instead, this time we have a different way of having bi-directional communication with your car in a much smaller package. Let's go over it. So as you can see, this is an OBD2 port reader that goes with an app on your smartphone that's going to give you all of that same bi-directional communication with your car, like we showed before with the full tablet version. Instead, this one is just an OBD2 port reader that connects to your cell phone and gives you the same free lifetime updates with no subscription fees, allows you to check your check engine lights. This is also compatible with third-party apps, so it will work with anything that uses the same protocol, which is the ELM327. So any of the apps out there that will use that protocol will allow this adapter to work. It does also include Smart Sleep, which means you do not need to unplug the connector after each use. And apparently this is something that only the BT200 Max, which we're looking at here, supports. So most other adapters do not have that same functionality. It also has a custom dashboard where you can select any OBD2 port data streams you want to see. So monitoring specific data and everything, you can set up exactly what you want to see right on the main screen. And it still has that same AI fault code analysis that the main tablet version of this has as well. So let's plug it in and take a look. All right, so this is the app, one of the the apps, I should say. This is the $Fix app, and what it's doing is actually a lot of the similar style stuff that the full tablet version did. All I had to hit was diagnose. It automatically connected to the device down there. You can hear beeping, and it immediately pulled in my VIN number, and everything is basically ready to go. From here, we can actually start diagnosing the car. So if we have any check engine lights, they'll show up in here. You can clear them from here, and of course you can do all that bi-directional scanning stuff that we've done with the main tablet device. So from here, let's go to health support just to see what we got. After this is all completely scanned, it's going to give us an option down here to clear the codes, and we're going to go ahead and do that. So it's finished, and like I said, we just recently tuned the car, which gives us some check engine lights we got to clear first before getting into anything. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom and hit clear DTCs, and that's going to allow me to clear all of these codes. And it says, are you sure you want to? Yes, we are. Now it's going to go ahead and clear them. That's why these kind of devices are worth their weight in gold, guys. And you can save 10% on this bad boy just by checking out the link in the description down below. Go ahead and check it out. Save some money just for being a horsepower obsessed fan. The best part is this device is only $79 currently, but this device will basically give you the same exact functionality as the full tablet device for much less. So $79 versus the full tablet being over $500, and you still get bi-directional communication with the C8 Corvette. You can't beat it, guys. Save with horsepower. Everything will be in the description below. So, now that you know how to save the money doing it, I'm going to show you how to do it, because it's also very easy to do. GM has designed this car in a way that you can easily change the oil, you can easily change the transmission filter, and when a day comes, you can even easily change the transmission fluid. So, this is a no-brainer, and it's an easy way to save some money. From here, we're going to head down to Blackout Tinting in Gibsonia, because they're generous enough to let us use their lift, but you can do this on quick jacks if you have those, or any way that you have of getting the car in the air, race ramps, anything like that, you can do this, but it's easier for me to film it for you when it's on a lift. So I'll see you at Blackout. All right, so we are here at Blackout Tinting. Again, big thank you to Blackout for letting us use their lift. But one thing I didn't get the chance to mention was actually one other thing that we're going to do today, but not necessarily something you have to do, just something to keep in mind if you want to, cross all your T's and dot your I's. Is this thing here. This is actually the dry sump tank plug. It's all plastic. I like to replace this every time I do the oil change. If you want to do the same, again, the link will be in the description down below. You can get it on Amazon. It's an extra $7. So either way, much cheaper to just do it here yourself with the parts you buy yourself versus taking it to the dealership. So before we put this up in the air, we're going to go ahead into the engine bay here and take off the oil cap. This is just one of those things you do, just in case. I'm going to show you guys underneath relatively quickly what we have to do here. So right there is the oil filter, and then the oil drain plug, and then the dry sump drain plug. And then underneath this silver plate, which we will take off with a bunch of special E-Torx bits, is where we'll have to get to for the transmission filter. So first step is going to be to remove the drain plug right there. That is a 15mm head. We'll go ahead, get that off, and then use our oil drain tank here to catch all the oil. And just like that, the oil is draining. That's out of the main plug. We'll do the dry sump next, which is where the majority of the fluid's at. And then the filter. And then we're going to start taking off this plate, which the majority of this plate, screw heads, are going to be an E14, I believe. I will link all these sockets in the description down below as well, because these are the special ones you're going to need to remove that transmission pan, and the transmission filter housing will also be the same kind of screw. This is an E14, and I believe that's the right size. Let's check. Nope, it's the E16 then. So E16. This is definitely the right one now. So again, link in the description. And the dry sump plastic plug, this is where the majority of your fluid's going to be, so be prepared. It's going to come out pretty wild. Just like that. Here's the part number for the dry sump plug. Like I said, all this stuff will be linked down below as well, but I'm gonna change it. It's only $7. It's a good peace of mind. All right, so we got the drain plug put back in and the dry sump plug. Now remember, these are just quarter turns. You can just use a 3/8 ratchet open end on there, quarter turn it in, and it is ready to go. Like I said, I did replace that one, threw away the stock one. It's good insurance, they're plastic. All right, so we got the oil filter out. This is the cap here. So first step we're gonna have to do is remove that blue seal because a new one comes with the new filters. Little screwdriver. Pop the old one off, throw that in the trash, slide the new one on into the same location. Just like that. Take the new oil filter. These ribs up here literally just click into place, put it down in there, push, and now it's ready for reassembly. Okay, and you can see in there, guys, there's like a stem. You're gonna wanna make sure to put that oil filter around it and then start tightening it down. And you're pretty much just gonna tighten that down until it bottoms out. Next step is to remove this pan. Like I said, it is a special socket here. It is an E16. Check out the link in the description below if you don't have these. And there is a bunch of them, guys, so. For those eagle-eyed viewers, we took off the air deflectors here before we got underneath the car, so. If we hadn't, though, you'd have to take those off for this anyway. There's a lot of these. Then there's also a couple 10mm bolts and 7mm back there, and then we'll take this whole pan off. So after we remove about 100 bolts, you should be able to slide the pan out. Like that. So with the pan off, we now have access to the transmission filter housing, which is right there. Now we're gonna need those special E sockets again to remove those 4 bolts, which your new transmission filter will come with replacements on, so you can just literally throw them away. So for the bolts that hold the transmission filter housing on, this is the little bolt here. These are an E8. So again, this is the socket family you're gonna want to do most of this. Link in the description, of course. And like I said, it'll come with 4 new bolts and a new gasket, and then of course the filter. So again, we're in here with an E8. You can zip them out with an impact or some sort of real low torque tool, but putting them back in, you gotta be very careful because these are just into aluminum. We don't wanna over torque them and, you know, cross thread anything. So after you take out the bolts, you might notice that that plate doesn't really wanna move. You wanna use a pair of needle nose pliers or something to grab it in the middle, and you can just pull it straight down. You do not want to stick anything in the side and pry it. Again, soft aluminum, you don't want to mess that up. Yeah, there you go. So, as you can see, some fluid will come out. So after you get the plate off, you got to grab the bottom of the filter with either a hook tool or a pair of pliers and yank it straight down. It's going to be a little bit of fluid. Okay, and that's the old filter out. All right, and here is the plate for the transmission filter housing. We have to take that blue gasket off because, again, the new filter came with a new gasket. So same kind of thing, got to be real careful because, like I said, this is aluminum. You can score it and mess it up. So ideally, we would have a pick tool for this, but a small flathead screwdriver will work too. Pull that off and put on the new one. It will just fall right into that little groove, and you're good to go. So here we have the new transmission filter. The old one is thrown in the garbage. We'll just put this up into the housing and you'll hear it click. Kind of clicks into place. There it is. So, and it will hold itself up in there. So just clean off the areas around it and then we're ready to put that plate back on. Because this plate has a gasket on it, it will kind of push into place and it will lock up there as well. And then you'll just put the new E8 bolts in with very low torque. But as you can see there, it's held in place with that gasket. So just real low torque on these bolts. All right, so just like that, we got everything tightened up, Right there is the transmission filter plate. Of course, we got the new filter in there, new filter in the oil. Drain plug is all tightened up. So now we got to lower it down, put some oil in this thing, and then I'll show you how to reset everything. All right, so once again, guys, the star of the show is this funnel. If you look at the bottom here, this thing actually screws into the GM filler port here. So it will not allow it to leak. There's a rubber seal on it and everything. So you can just go ahead and start dumping the oil in. It will not leak. All right, so we have 6,100 miles on the car. We just changed everything up. So here's how we're gonna reset this stuff, guys. Once you go to the engine oil or transmission filter page, you just hit the select button on the steering wheel, and that's gonna take you into reset engine oil. Then you're gonna hit yes, and there it is. So then we'll hit that button again, go down to reset transmission filter, hit yes. That's it. It's that simple. So we're at 100% on both now. We are good to go. And believe it or not, engine sounds quieter. I don't hear as much ticking, so it definitely needed an oil change. And that transmission filter, every time I change it, this car feels like a brand new car again after it shifts. Whenever you have it in drive versus manual mode, it just shifts so much smoother. And just like that, guys, we are back home. And I just wanted to kind of wrap this video up for you and let you know that, yes, this is the good way to save over $1,000, because the $1,200 that I quoted you earlier, that was actually a cheap price. I've seen this between $1,500 to $1,800 for the same service. So you could potentially save $1,000+ by buying the products through Amazon, through Rock Auto, through a couple different places, but I'll link all of the Amazon links down below. If you buy them from the same place I did, they'll cost you about $246 all in, which is significantly lower than the $1,200 or more. So again, guys, if you liked it, smash the thumbs up. Let me know you're liking the content. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, stay obsessed.